3 things RC parents do differently when it comes to homeschooling. Let's talk about it in this video.
So the first thing I think is most important to teach a child is study habits and a mental attitude that he can extract material from books and use it. That's more important than what he's extracting.
Number 1 is that we try to work our way out of another job because we're already wives and moms and cooks and cleaners, nurses, transportation specialists, domestic engineers, accountants. I mean, you name it. Now we're adding another hat, teacher. So wherever we can delegate or alleviate our load, why not?
Mothers will have 14 subjects, and every time they hear about another subject, I don't want my child to be deprived of that, so they add that. Pretty soon the child is spending 10 minutes a day on each thing. Can't really learn much about anything because there's so many things, and the mother's pulling her hair out trying to develop lessons on all these things. Most of them pick it up because they get burned out trying to do everything at once and be a teacher of everything, and the mother is completely wiped out homeschooling, and they find that this does a better job with very little time, so they like to adapt to it.
So we're trying to work ourselves out of that teaching job. And there's actually a couple benefits, not just for us, but for the kids as well. Because when you're focusing it all on you being the dispenser of knowledge, of information, they are going to be limited by your limitations.
I am convinced, however, that this method allows each to reach a very high academic level, limited only by his own ability and perseverance, and not limited by his teacher's abilities or those of other students.
So again, win-win. The kids are not limited by your limitations, and you can alleviate a little bit of that weight on you. And bonus, the kids will develop these amazing study habits that will carry them through life. Hopefully, right? Being independent, lifelong learners. That's the goal. Number 2 is that we focus on the 3 R's. We're keeping it simple here with reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, you might be wondering to yourself,
wait, that's it? They do a lot more than that in public school. Don't you want them to be better off or have a more well-rounded education?
What I mean when I say we're focusing on the 3 R's is that we are not actively teaching things like science, geography, foreign languages, social studies. However, that doesn't mean that they're not getting it through other means, such as the books. The Robinson curriculum has a very long book list to take you from the very beginning of your education to graduation. And in those books, we have poetry and social studies and science, biology, nature study, animal study, world history is included in the books.
People sometimes look at the kind of curriculum that we do and they say, well, that's just books. But that's where knowledge is. It's not on the video games, it's not in the TV set, it's not in some kind of funny manipulative they get to play with, it's in books. If you look out at the great libraries of Western civilization, there are at least 500 years of writing out there, and you can pick the best people that have ever written about history. You don't need a guy who just got out of college writing you a history book. If you're studying the Civil War, why not read the autobiographies of Grant and Sherman and the vice president and presidents of the Confederacy and the writings of Lincoln? These guys were there, they were doing it, and they write beautifully. It isn't necessary to read what some guy just got out of college wants to tell you happened in the Civil War. You can read about it from the people who fought it.
But I'll let you in on a not so little secret here. Something kind of well known to RC parents is that you can't really learn science, real science like physics and chemistry, without the right mathematical foundation. To quote Dr. Robinson from the course of study, for these reasons we have concluded that science and engineering should be limited solely to extracurricular descriptive texts until the child has learned enough mathematics to understand these subjects correctly. This need not take long. Students in our homeschool finish introductory calculus between the ages of 14 and 16 years. Now I'm actually going to jump in here and throw in a bonus one. Something that RC parents do differently is we're supposed to do school 6 days a week year round.
Now, here in the course of study, Dr. Robinson addresses this, saying that very frequently parents have asked him a depressing question. They say something like, I hear your children study 5 or 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Will it be okay if my children study 4 hours a day, 5 days a week? Will that be enough? The answer is simple. The more you work, the more you learn. There is no enough. Your child has one brain and one life. In optimizing the ability of that brain and the experiences and productivity of that life, how much is enough?
The third thing that RC parents do differently is that they are more producers rather than consumers. Let me explain. When I talk about consuming, I mean spending a lot of money on consumable materials that, let's face it, end up either not being used on the bookshelf or thrown in the trash, or maybe you're keeping the bulk of it in case you have to show someone, but they're just worksheets where they're filling in the answer or circling an answer, etc. This is, I don't always think, the most effective way to go about things, and it's also very expensive, especially if you have more kids. Whereas the Robinson curriculum, it's $195 K through 12 for the entire family, plus the cost of the math books. Now, you do have to print it out. It's a printable curriculum, so you print out what you need when you need it. All the book files, vocabulary, it's all there for you.
And you see that in a lot of our homeschool curriculums. They are very nice because they have taken out the things people don't want their children to learn. They often have added some Christian values and Christian thinking to them, which is what the majority of the homeschool movement would like to have added to them. But the academic quality, academic level, is still sitting at the level of our public schools instead of going back to what the child's capable of.
So rather than buying a 3rd or 4th grade grammar or writing curriculum and they're reading a lesson and then they're completing a worksheet where they're just circling what's wrong, what's out of place, or what belongs there, they're just getting a notebook, from the 99-cent store or the Dollar Tree, just a regular spiral notebook, and they're writing in it every day a page back and forth of their thoughts, whatever they want to write about. And that's truly where you will catch any weaknesses and strengths and give them feedback in order to improve. So it's very affordable, very sustainable. And again, you're working more on producing a body of work, which is instead of just consuming curriculum year after year.
Every child is capable of learning at the level that was done in the 60s, which is about 2 grade levels above what we have today. And probably at least half of our children are capable of learning at the academic levels of the 30s, which is another 2 grade levels above what we have today. The important thing is that no single child be damaged by what the others are able to learn. If you can make the knowledge a continuous road that stretches out in front of the child, gets steeper as he gets more knowledgeable and has more ability, then he goes down that road at whatever rate his perseverance and knowledge and capability and how hard he works permits. If he's not too fast a learner, he goes down slower, even if he works hard. If he's a very quick learner, he'll go down fast. The fast students won't be held back by the slow students, and the slow students are not feeling bad about themselves because they don't go as fast as the fast students. There aren't any signposts that says you must do. See, when you have a thing that says this is a 5th grade curriculum, then you want to make everybody happy because you want to sell curriculums. You make sure that every student can do that. Well, that means that the good students are being deprived.
So let's recap 3 things RC parents do differently. Number 1, they work themselves out of a job using a well thought out self-teaching methodology. This is not unschooling. There is a method, there is a curriculum, there is a plan, a very good plan. Number 2, focusing on the 3 R's. Instead of going a mile wide but never more than an inch deep, we are going deep when it comes to reading, writing, and arithmetic. They will be strong in those 3 skills. They will be confident, giving them that ability, those capabilities to tackle any subject, anything that they want to learn later on in life. And number 3, we focus on affordability and sustainability versus just throwing money at the problem. This is a unique peaceful, not just curriculum, but methodology where kids not only learn, gain knowledge, but also study habits and skills that will carry them through their whole lives. Now, if you're not very familiar with the Robinson curriculum, I went ahead and created a free 13-part video series telling you all about it. So I will link that in the description down below. And if you'd like to join me for live Q&As and additional training each month, then I will leave a link down below where you can connect with me as well. Now, I'm sure I've missed things in this list, so if you are an RC parent out there, let me know in the comments down below. What is something you think that is unique to parents of this methodology that's different from your other homeschooling counterparts? Let me know in the comments below, and if you have any questions as well, feel free to comment below. I will answer you as soon as I can. Now, while you wait for the next video, I will leave the link to the playlist that I have here on all my Robinson curriculum videos, so you can check that out as well. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, I invite you to join me in my membership site for live Q&As, video coffee chats, plus have access to all my courses, monthly training, and much more. Learn more at sustainablehomeschooling.com. In the meantime, feel free to check out these videos that I think you'll also find helpful, and I'll meet you there.